Okay. We're back again. First, I do want to say thank you all for following us this far on the journey. If you haven't seen our earlier videos, I'll put a little card up so you can kind of go back and start from the beginning. Um, but we do appreciate all the love and support that we have been getting. Um, I'm KJ,
I'm Taryn.
and our channel is mainly about um, love, black love, growth, and healing on the journey that we've been placed on by the Most High. If you haven't seen already, then we had a premature baby. Baby Anaya joined us 3 months early, and so we're currently going through a very arduous yet rewarding process. Um, Watching her grow, watching her fight, and hopefully soon come home. It has taught us a lot about ourselves and strengthen our bond between one another. So it's, I would say overall it's been bittersweet thus far. Um,
But
but
more sweet now.
yeah, definitely more sweet. Definitely a lot more sweet. Um, but this video today isn't going to be as heavy. Um, it's going to be educational, I would hope. Today we're going to talk about co-parenting. um, at least from our point of view, the way we approach co-parenting. I do have a son from a previous relationship. He is 12 years old, and of course, he's going to be a big brother. So it's been interesting trying to, make sure that he can stay involved in this whole process because we don't want to forget about him either. Me and my child's mother broke up um, when he was just shy of 2 years old. Um, and a just small disclaimer, you may notice that I say child's mother or his mother or stuff like that quite often. And it's just because I've gotten to the point where I no longer give her energy to upset me.
When you get too worried about the human body
Yeah.
and this lifetime, and you put too much effort in it, in a negative sense, like fighting someone, it just keeps you from your goal.
And one way I do that is by not saying her name. There's power in words. Um, so I just kind of stopped saying her name and I just call her by the title that she is because she is my son's mother. She is my child's mother, ergo the reason why I call her that. Um, so me and my child's mother broke up just shy of his second birthday. Um, there were issues early on. However, me and her got together at a young age. Um, I was only 22 years old when I had my son. So, me and her were just really starting out in this thing that we call adulting. And we didn't really understand um, from a really mature standpoint what a healthy relationship actually is. Um, so because of that, things um, that were issues kind of got put to the side. And I guess you could say we were living in the honeymoon stage. And so when my son finally came, um, everything got intensified, at least from my standpoint. You know, because the way I approached it, once he came into the world, everything stopped being about me. Everything stopped being about her. I say it all the time. I stopped mattering on his birthday. And I'll literally say July 31st, 2008, everything else stopped being about him. Stopped being about me and started being about him. But unfortunately, she doesn't approach it that way. So a lot of stuff that occurs in the thing that's called co-parenting, it doesn't really necessarily work because um, sometimes I feel like she tries to add herself into it a little bit too much. And we all have feelings, and if you feel something, it's valid. Um, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not wrong. Um, and we just need to kind of grow and readjust sometimes. And I don't really think that she does it all the time. And because of that, for at least, again, this is just my perspective, it's the reason why I just kind of had to exit that relationship because I didn't want to be a bitter parent. I didn't want to stay around just because. because I've seen relationships like that, and it's not good. It's not very healthy. I can appreciate the parents that try to do it because there are enough broken households in the black community, um, but it's not necessarily good for the long run for everybody involved. Somebody somewhere is going to be feeling like they're getting the short end of the stick, and something is going to start to be affected in some way. So again, from my perspective, because I stepped back and exited that relationship, now me and my son's bond is stronger, and he can, if not come to me for stuff, he does come to my wife for stuff, and he also does approach my best friend and talk to her. And so I think he feels that safe space, if you want to say, where he can actually do that because he doesn't constantly see arguing and bickering and snark remarks and stuff like that. It's just two separate households. He's been dealing with this as long as the current arrangement that we have is what he's been dealing with pretty much all his life. So it's just normal to him, which is another reason why I decided to make that decision when I did, because he basically just grew up with this arrangement. It's just normal. Um, Me and her have equal split custody, so he just goes from one parent's household to the other. And there's just minor difficulties because I run my household, of course, differently than the way she runs hers. So every now and then, certain things come into play, and I don't want to put him in the middle. So it's like now I have to approach his mother, um, and get her to at least be on the same page or see me somewhere in the middle, and that doesn't always happen. So um, there's been a few times when my wife had to like pull me aside and remind me that your son is here. He can hear what you're doing. Me and his mother were getting into an argument, and it was quite heated. And she had to pull me aside and be like, "Look, you shouldn't be doing this. Like, at least go outside, go on the balcony, do something, because you shouldn't. Parents don't argue in front of your kids. Um, it teaches them the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's mainly what it is. Parents realize the children mimic everything that you do, and if they see you arguing, or becoming physical, being mentally, emotionally abusive and stuff like that, it teaches your child the wrong thing. Um, so ever since that conversation, it's only happened twice. Um,
No, I think that was the last time.
well, the one here,
That wasn't heated. That wasn't.
okay,
That wasn't bad. That night. That
the
was the
one in,
last time. That was the last time.
so it's only happened once. Um, and she told me to go on the balcony, and I literally went on the balcony, and it
You
didn't
got
really help.
louder. I
Didn't
was like, oh
help at
my
all.
god.
you know, um, but we're going to talk about this more in depth in a later video. But my upbringing and her upbringing as well definitely kind of cemented in our head that arguing in front of the children
No go.
is just
Don't
a
do
no
that.
go. If for nothing else, so my son he's very smart, and he's learned how to play people against one another. He reads behaviors very well. So if me and my wife were arguing, my son will pick up on that and start to, especially now that he's getting into his teenage years, he will start to play each other against one another, and that would just divide our relationship. So that's one reason why you just don't argue in front of your children. You just
We
want to
don't do
be
that. One accord.
united.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-mm.
so, and then the other thing is, it just teaches them toxic behavior moving forward. They think it's okay because mommy and daddy do it, and that's another thing that you just don't want to do. Um, so that's where I come from. Of course, my wife has her own perspective on it.
As far as co-parent is concerned, for really, I walked into the situation 18, 19 years old, young tender thing, didn't know what I was getting myself into. And but I knew like dating you was a big responsibility because your son came with the package. And of course, like I've said before, I would advise any woman that's dating or any man that's dating, if you are interested in somebody and they have a child or children, understand that's what comes with the package. If you are not ready for that, do not entertain that relationship at all. Do not do that. That's why when we started dating, we gave it a year before I met your child, because I took it seriously. Because my dad stepped into my life when I was 4 years old, and he accepted me with my mom as a full deal. So I understood what that meant for another perspective, like a possible person to walk into a child's life. It's a major thing, especially when they're so young. They're so you can really leave an impression on them. So if you don't take it seriously, just don't waste time. I took it very seriously. I didn't know the what would come with it, but I knew it is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So it was just very interesting in the beginning because you guys freshly just broke up and everything, and I think everyone had to just learn their place.
Mm-hmm.
Like just I think people felt like people were going to overstep their boundaries when that was never the case, or people felt like they were trying to be replaced, which of course never the case. Um, so I think all three of us had to just figure out, okay, you're here, you're here, you're here. This is the gameplay. You guys play your part, and we, for the past 10 years, we all figured out our gameplay and how each of us intertwine in this situation
It
to
didn't
help
happen
him.
overnight at all.
Oh no.
It
No.
was definitely a process, and
Yeah.
people, every once in a while, myself included, we definitely did jump out of pocket every once
Yes,
in a while
jump
and
out of line.
overstep.
Most definitely.
You know,
Most definitely. I think that's the only way that the situation could have worked is that we all tolerate each other, and we tolerate each other by understanding how each one of us play our roles,
mm-hmm.
and respect each other's roles,
Mm-hmm.
and understand that I respect you, you respect me. Let's just keep it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Most definitely. So it really came to a heat when your child, he was getting older, and he was doing things that a preteen does, and because we because we were so used to him being a kid, when he did something that a preteen does, it really gave us, all three of us, a slap in the face, wake up call. Like, okay, you're dealing with another game. You got to play your position differently now, and you all got to really work together. You weren't really working together before, but you got to really work together now. You got to communicate now because the game's getting serious. So we, I had to be the bigger person, and with a lot of prayer, I approached his child's mother and basically was just like, whatever that you felt, whatever that you thought, regardless how even though my truth is my truth, and that's okay, and her truth is her truth, and that's okay. Your truth is your truth, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Whatever it is you feel, they're valid, okay? Your feelings matter, and whatever it is, I'm sorry. Whatever you felt, I'm sorry, because we have a bigger thing to deal with at this point. This ain't about us. It's about, your child. So, I did that to better the relationship because there has to be a positive relationship to make this work, at least for the next 6 years. Like, it has to be something positive. And you're like, we're not best friends, and that's okay, but we have to respect each other because of your son.
Mm-hmm. Because he's gonna, at the end of the day, he's gonna be the one that feels a certain type of way about everything. He's the one that's caught in the middle of all of this.
Mm-hmm. And it's already he already has to deal with, how I feel, how he feels, how his mother feels.
Mm-hmm.
It's already enough for that.
Yeah.
It's already enough. And to pull him around, and nah. We are all three adults. He doesn't need to be in the middle of none of that mess. We all can grow up and do what we have to do.
Yeah.
So that was a major step for me. That was a major step for me and her, and also for you, because that was less drama to deal with.
Yeah, I was playing like goalie. It was a quite a few years where certain conversations were had between me and my child's mother, and I wouldn't even tell, my fiance at the time about it.
No, because nothing positive was going to come out of
Right.
it. Nothing positive was going to come out of it.
And then whenever I did bring it up, it was she would always ask, like, so when do y'all have this conversation? I'm like, oh, this happened, a few years ago.
And it just nothing positive came out of it. Nothing.
So now it's not. I mean, it's not that bad at all anymore. For various reasons. I'll just say that we all just stay in our place.
Everybody stay in their place and play your role. Play your role.
I'm doing what I'm doing. She's doing what she's doing, and that's just it. When it comes to the matter of our child together, And as a disclaimer, the reason why I don't say his name, but I do say my daughter's name, is because, for one, my son didn't give permission, and then for two, she didn't give permission. So I'm just respecting their wishes. Mainly my son's. He kind of wanted to remain a little bit anonymous. So fine. I haven't went to his mother for permission, but that was mainly because I went to my son and he said no. So there was really no need to go to the mother. So whenever he changes his mind, then I'll approach his mother and make sure that she's okay with his name being out on the airwaves. Of course, with my daughter is here. So, but that's the reason why I don't say. If anybody is wondering why I
And
willingly
people
say,
crazy. Anybody got time for that?
right? I mean, I'm not
This world's
really,
crazy.
I'm not really too worried about it, but just a respect factor. This is stuff that we're mainly talking about. Just a respect factor. Um, you know, it's different because I'm literally sitting next to my daughter's mother, so I know that she's okay with it, which is why we do it. But the other parent is over there. The conversation hadn't been had. As a respect factor, you should just have the conversation, even though I'm pretty sure she would be okay with it. Um, just to show the respect that I am concerned about what she thinks, stuff like that. Back in the day, I probably would have just did it because I'd been like, well, that's my son. It is what it is.
And that's the thing when you working, like when you doing a co-parenting type of situation, you really can't be like selfish. You can't be. I mean, not saying like y'all, our feelings aren't, valid or whatever, but you're dealing with other people, and it's just like if you want to state your opinion or if you feel so strong about it, be ready for the consequences. Be ready for the backlash. Be ready for the drama because it's going to be drama. It's going to be. It is. That's just what's going to happen. So, but yeah, I think that that's just how we like all deal with each other and tolerate like each other. We all just do what we gotta do and just stay in our spot, and that's it. Just stay in our
Mm-hmm.
spot. Um, and for me, my spot for the situation is just to support you, really, just to hold you up and support you. Um, and also, when they can't, when they bumping heads, him and his child's mother, in my little convenient way, I'll just be like, try to help them communicate the best way that I can because I don't want them. I don't want a little disagreement to turn into a big argument, and then they do it in front of their child. Just like that night when I had to, you know, somehow get you in order because you was not even trying to hear me. You was not trying to hear anybody because she took you to that level. So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
What did you say, nigga?
and I saw it because it was and that night was really weird because it was like you was hot, you was heated, and he was in the room crying because he could literally hear you in his like outside screaming, and he just was so scared, and I've been there before, I've been there, so I was just like. I was trying to like get you in check, but I couldn't because you was upset, and I was trying to console him at the same time, and it was just a lot. So that was the last time you ever got to that point. Otherwise, it's just little disagreements, or otherwise you just hang up the phone.
Yeah, I
So,
don't,
so good job. Don't argue because it's a lot. It's just too much.
like I said, part of my growth into being where I am now is to not even give the time or the energy into certain things. Um, we all have buttons, and you know, she knows my buttons just as well as my wife does. Um, Me and her were together for almost 7 years, so she knows how to get under my skin. And not even just that. Once you become a parent, you're not even really defending yourself. You're also defending your
Yeah.
child.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I was so upset was because I was just so sick and tired of feeling like my son's emotions were being discounted for hers. Because again, that's just my perspective. Um, and you know, certain things just kind of boiled over, just got blown out of proportion. But I've kind of moved on from that. So um, the next time that same similar situation happened, I handled it completely differently.
You hung
Um,
up the phone.
yeah,
You
because
just
it's
hung up,
kind of like,
and then I had a conversation with her.
yeah, it's I just feel like if I see that the conversation isn't going to go anywhere, I don't even really have the conversation. It's kind of pointless. It's like obviously I'm not equipped enough to be able to deal with whatever it is that we're dealing with. So maybe somebody else should have the conversation. And so again, that's where my wife comes in. And all of this, your relationship with your baby daddy or your baby mama could be completely different. This is just how we deal with our situation and what advice we can give for people in a similar situation. Because um, you might be best friends with your child's mother or father or whoever it is.
Hey, work it out, whatever you gotta do.
That's just not the case over here. So for anybody in a similar situation that can understand, just tit for tat stuff that just be going on every once in a while. She used to do stuff like that. She knows not half the time she don't even call me. She just has my son call me because she knows I probably won't even answer the phone. Um, I'm just like, send me a text message. I'll read it and then I'll respond in accordance because not that anything will pop off, but I'm just not going to even give any room for something to pop off on anybody's side. So just shoot me a text message, or if it's really that important, then my son can call me and ask me. He's at the age now where he should be able to voice his opinions. At least that's what I'm teaching him, is that you're turning into young adulthood. You should be able to voice your opinions and yeah. So do that. So the conversations between me and his mother have become less and less necessary because now I'm like, well, what does he want to do? So that's just how we operate. I hope everybody gained something from that. I hope you can at least see the reason why we kind of operate the way we do. Like I said, you might roll a different way. That's just not how we roll. Everybody has to find their own place because everybody has different personalities. Everybody processes information differently. Everybody feels a different way. And it's all kind of dictated based on the way you have your own life and the way you walk through life. And so based on the sum total of everything we've been so far, this is how we felt that we needed to deal with it.
But you have to figure out how to deal with it
for yourself.
If you don't and you just, continue to let your emotions just take over, nobody wins. I'm pretty sure, we don't care for the drama, but some people do, that's your choice. But it make your life a whole lot easier and lower your blood pressure if you just figure it out and
you found the right one today.
Yeah.
I used to be that way. I don't really see the point anymore of having that mentality.
Because it just gets real fast. Real fast.
Yeah.
And we just too old for that. Too old for that. It's not cute no more.
Yeah.
It's not attractive. We're not doing that.
I'll be 35 this coming August. So,
I'm almost 30. Ew.
I just
we got time.
You don't have time for it. We on a different thing. Stress kills. I don't have time for all of that. Plus, I'm not showing my son that it's okay to treat his mother that way. That's really the main thing.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't him, then we'll be having a different conversation. But I'm not showing him. Well, technically yes. I'm not showing him that it's okay for any man to treat any woman that way.
Even if they're killing your nerves.
Yeah.
Just hang up the phone.
Yeah, just keep it moving. Just keep it moving. Like, all right, I'll talk to you later. Or maybe not at all. So again, thank you for joining us on our channel. We hope that you gained something from this video. Again, it's not as heavy as the NICU stuff that we've been dealing with. But it is still stuff that's on our mind, stuff that we still deal with on a regular basis. I hope you gained something from it. Please, if you feel the need, put something in the comment section and let me know, how it helps you, or if you just disagree. There's no issues with disagreements. That's how we all get better, is having somebody from a different perspective approach us and give us a different way of thinking, and then that way you can kind of maybe meet in the middle or something like that. So thank you for joining us again. Please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, if nobody has told you yet, I love you.
Bye.
This your sight. It's time to grow up. Tell them Barbies good night. Cut the string from the puppets. We can quiet down the hype. Israelite. I rep tight. Yeah, how a shine light. Shine so bright.